So, Guy and Pavel, thank you very much indeed for the opportunity to say a few words today about Future Earth, and good afternoon to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. As Guy said, my name is Stephen Wilson. I'm the Executive Director at the International Council for Science, known as IIASA. For those who don't know already, IIASA works to strengthen international science for the benefit of society, and we do that in three main ways. We support international research programs, we work at the science to policy interface, and we work to support the freedoms and responsibilities of scientists worldwide. I wanted to use these few minutes to say a little bit about Future Earth, just a quick introduction, but also to talk about some of the barriers in Future Earth that we're trying to overcome, in particular in terms of this relationship between the scientific community and society. So as a backdrop, I think many of you will already be aware that for many years IIASA has sponsored, often with partners, a range of global environmental change programs, including the World Climate Research Programme, the International Geosphere Biosphere Programme, Diversitas, and the International Human Dimensions Programme. Probably many of you in the room have been involved with these initiatives already. For me, I find them tremendously inspiring because they brought together tens of thousands of scientists from around the world to work to develop shared research agendas, really advancing our understanding of the Earth system and continuing to highlight some of the threats that we're now facing from, for example, changes in our climate system, impacts on from land use change, biodiversity loss, and the associated issues for ecosystem function and the services it provides. Thinking about the world within reach, this foundational research points towards major challenges to our sustainability. We face important questions relating to feeding a growing population, relating to how to value the services that the environment is providing us, how to live in a warmer and more urban environment. Now, responding to those sustainability challenges, IIASA has been working with an alliance, a group of partners, to develop a major new international research initiative on global sustainability, which is called Future Earth. That alliance brings together organizations that represent the international science community in IIASA and the International Social Science Council, groups of environmental research funders, in particular the Belmont Forum and also IGFA, organizations that broadly at an international level represent user organizations, particularly in the UN, and also organizations that bring a number of those skills and capabilities together, and also skills in the area of service provision in environmental information, like the World Meteorological Organization. So for me, it's important that it's this alliance of partners that is coming together and saying we really need to take the next step up in terms of sustainability research. So you've probably heard a little about this already, but Future Earth's goal is to provide the knowledge required for societies in the world to face the risks posed by global environmental change and to seize opportunities in a transition to global sustainability. And many of you may have seen already, but a conceptual framework has been built which is linking human and natural drivers, environmental changes, and the impacts on human well-being. And the program is going to be structured around three very broad themes. The first, looking at the dynamic planet, our current understanding of the Earth system and the projections for future changes. We want to look at global development, in particular, how to provide food, water, and energy security within sustainable planetary boundaries. And third, we need to test the response options and identify for the longer term the societal changes that could lead to transformations towards sustainability. But one of the, I think, themes that has come up many times in this discussion already has been the need, if we're to make advances, for a closer relationship between the way that science operates and society. People talk about a contract or a closer understanding. And before I finish, I think it's that I really want to dwell on for a minute, because there are 5 or so areas which are really being thought through in terms of the design of the way that Future Earth works. They're easier to say than to do, so I welcome your advice as to how to take them forward. But let me just say a word about them. The first is to much more strongly bring the role of people in the Earth system into the research that we're developing, both in terms of the impacts of environmental change on people and their responses. The second is about taking fundamentally a more integrated approach, bringing together the range of scientific, that's across the natural and social sciences, and other disciplines that are needed to respond to the societal challenges that we face. The third is about engaging broadly and finding new ways to communicate. And when I say communicate, I'm thinking particularly about two-way dialogue, not just communication in one sense. For me, that means working with scientists from all over the world. It means thinking about capacity building efforts. It means thinking beyond the policy users, particularly at an international level that we're used to working with, to think about business users and also more generally people, where a direct dialogue is needed, particularly for those that are most exposed and most vulnerable to environmental change. Fourth, there is an emphasis on the need for co-design to jointly set research agendas with those that need the research. And fifth, we need to think carefully about the best approaches for the relationship between science and policy, but also the policy for science. As my time is up, I'm not going to say more about science for policy, but just one word on policy for science, because I don't know how much that has come up so far. But in terms of these more integrated approaches, I think there are big questions for some aspects of the policy for science. Are we providing the right environment for this more integrated research in terms of our education systems, in terms of career structures, in terms of the rewards, in terms of funding solutions? To my mind, some of these, and I speak particularly as an ex-funder, need to be given some further consideration. So just to conclude, Future Earth is now entering a very active consultation phase. Hopefully today this is another opportunity, and I look forward to hearing your feedback, but please also take the opportunity to come and talk to my colleagues at the poster, because we're keen to hear your views. We're very keen that Future Earth is designed and implemented in a way that it really does help to provide the knowledge needed to transform to a more sustainable future world. Thank you very much.